Recently, I had the opportunity to interview Aspire teacher, Mariana Candela. At the surface, we discuss dual enrollment and our role as educators in supporting our students. But beyond that, through the video, my hope is that we would be challenged and inspired, knowing that our work as educators has the potential to have impact and influence beyond any other.
So I am a 10th ELA teacher, and I have 2 sections of sophomore ELA. And so I start my day teaching English, and then I continue through the day, and I have my 1 section after lunch of English. And then my 4th period is my college course and credit recovery. And so I have maybe 2 students right now that are in credit recovery. And the rest of the students are doing the dual enrollment, and they're enrolled in ARC. And so every Monday the kids come in, and I give them kind of like the projection overview of what the professor has communicated with me that they're going to be covering for the week, and with the due dates and all that stuff. And I just kind of give them a brief, like, here's the plan for the week, here's your top priority of things to do, like take note of these due dates, and I'll check in with you on Thursday and see what progress you've made. So in years past, it was scheduled that one cohort would do the college course and the other cohort would do a Spanish class. And then at semester it would switch. This year they've kind of hybridized it. So I have a mix of both of my cohorts in the 4th period class, which did cause a lot of confusion at the beginning of the year. But having the hybrid in there kind of allows me to, it actually gives me a lot of information on what kind of students my students are. Like what drives them, what's their motivation, like how do they self-motivate and without their like peer group, right? Because the cohort, sometimes they fall back on like what is everybody else doing, and they've been with some of their peers like forever, so they just kind of fall into these routines and these habits. So having the hybrid group, I feel like allows me kind of like a pinhole into what kind of students are they and how do they study. And I really like the college course because it allows me to kind of sit back and just observe and collect that data. So last year I started as a long-term sub, teacher of record, kind of late into the year. And so the first semester, I didn't understand what my role was. I didn't know what I was doing. I just thought it was basically like a free period. The kids kind of treated it that way. And I was just like, I'm just going to do whatever until they tell me better, right? Then the second semester when we switched, I was like, okay, well, this is a whole thing. There's a textbook. We got to get them like signed up in this platform that I've never seen. It was a lot of navigating of like, what do I need to lay my eyes on and what can I lay my eyes on? Like, what do I have access to? And I realized like we don't have access to a lot of what they see. So it was as simple as like, hey, bring that Chromebook over here. Like, let me see what you see. Let me see what it looks student view in terms of your assignments and like the flow of everything and the scaffolding of everything, and how do you communicate with your professor and all that stuff. So I was able to start last year kind of understanding how hands-on I needed to be. And full transparency, I was very hands-off last year, and I had a lot of students withdraw and fail a lot. And I felt kind of like, well, I don't know what else to do. I'm helpless. I don't know what to do. I can't talk to this professor, or I've tried to email this professor. They won't talk to me. Like, no one from ARC is getting back to me. I don't know what to do. And I just kind of threw my hands up. But that was a disservice to our kids. So this year I made it very important for me to work with our academic counselors, partnering with them heavy loading, like front loading communication. What course are they doing? What is my role? How can I get training or support to understand what I can do to support them better? My counselors worked really hard to bridge the relationship with the ARC people, and we have a support team now with ARC, and they're on our campus. So I have to give credit to our counselors because they really did a lot of work behind the scenes to create that relationship and create that, like, open those communication channels. So starting at the beginning of the year, I knew what I had done not well last year, and I said, okay, I'm going to do it different. So I just started doing like a little just check-in weekly with them. Like I said, I have a professor that's very communicative, and she sends screenshots of the student view, and so I'm able to show that. And I just know every week they have the same, assignment that they have to do, and sometimes there's exams, sometimes there's these other things, but I know the pattern of the course now. So I check in with them. I give them the expectation for the week on Mondays. I let them do it. I don't try to invade their studying because I want them to learn these skills of being self-motivated. And then I check in with them on Thursday, sometimes Friday, and we have like a 30-second conversation with every student, like, were you able to get it done? Why not? Teaching, or I wouldn't say teaching as much as it's like coaching. This kind of like study skills type thing is really how I've taken my role in this, this college course facilitation. I don't think that's too much at all. And I'm not trying to pass judgment or anything, but I know I used a lot of words to express what I was doing, but the energy is 2 minutes in front of my class on a Monday morning. These are the dates. These are the 2 things you need to prioritize, get it done. And then I sit down. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna check in, and I go down the roster. They come bring me their stuff. I just check that they've done it. Check, check, check. Or I write a circle if they haven't done it. I think this year, with this system that I've established, it's easier and less stressful for me. Where last year, when I didn't know what was happening and I didn't know what my role was, I didn't know what to expect, I didn't know what I could do to communicate with ARC or the professor, it felt way more stressful and chaotic for me. I've been thinking about this actually, knowing that we were going to have this conversation, and I do feel really personal about this because I'm a first-gen college student. I didn't have anybody to tell me how to be a student. I didn't have anybody to tell me how to prioritize my time. I didn't have anybody to tell me that it was on me. I just had to figure it out. And if I, as a sophomore, junior, or senior, had a microscopic glimpse into what it was going to be like, I would have been so much more prepared to really take advantage of my education instead of just clawing through it and trying to survive. So I know there's AVID is a thing in public schools that really help teach students how to be college students and how to prepare to do that. And under the expectation that they will go to college and they will do this. For me, this course kind of fills that role of let's practice. I don't think it's hand-holding. I think it is equitable for the majority of my students, because I could tell you right now with full confidence, all of these kids, this is the first time anyone has seen what a college course looks like in their family. So if we're going to believe that our students deserve the right to college, it's not hand-holding to help them practice to do that. Well, I tell people all the time, on paper, the dual enrollment thing is such a cool opportunity. The fact that if it's done with fidelity, our students could be graduating with a high school diploma and an AA, or almost there, that, I mean, it makes me emotional because that kind of opportunity to provide in communities that have been intentionally withheld from these opportunities, like, it's not hand-holding, it's not babying, it's not giving them, you know, a leg up. It's literally opening a door they never knew would ever be there for them. It's opening a path that wasn't even in their ancestors' wildest dreams. Like, that to me is such a powerful, transformative, like, generational evolution and cycle breaking that, like, when they're older and they can look back on it, they'll be like, man, thank goodness I had that chance, right? And I've talked to some of our alma mater, I've talked to some of our people who've graduated, and they are so much more confident in themselves as college students because they know the process. And historically, college has been withheld and very strategically kept from a lot of people. And this opportunity for a 15-year-old, 16-year-old, whomever, whose parents may or may not have even graduated high school, to say, I'm a college student, I take a college course, that in and of itself, like, what does that do for their sense of self, their sense of potential and what they can do? You tell me, because if I would have had that, I would have been unstoppable. You can't tell me nothing. I'm 16, I'm a college student. What? You know, and I see that in some of these kids and they're owning it. I had my conferences this week and every one of my kids was like, I got an A in my college course. I got 101% in my college course. And you can't replace that pride. You can't replace that sense of, like, success and being able to do something. It makes me really emotional. It's just really cool. I wasn't expecting that. Hi, Jay.
Just talking dual enrollment. It's an equity issue.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, like, as educators, we're often expected to do things like that are just kind of dropped on us without any guidance, without any, like, practice, you know? And it can be really frustrating and it can feel like a burden and it can feel like, you know, I have to, my first priority is to be an ELA teacher. Like, I have to worry about those students and prepping and planning and everything that I have to do to serve those students, you know. But to have this opportunity, when you don't buy in, your students don't buy in, they read it and smell it, you know. Like, anybody that teaches knows that. If you don't believe it, your kids aren't going to believe in it. So, you know, I am a very, like, high support, high expectation, high love teacher, but it also comes down to, like, we have very honest conversations about what you are going to ever be able to have access to. If you're first gen, if you are new to this country, like, I don't know, it's just really powerful to have the opportunity to say, like, I at least tried. I was enrolled in college and I tried, even if you don't pass it, you know.
You're their English teacher.
Yeah.
And then when it's college, that's not your responsibility. That's their college class. What do you think about that?
When people ask me what I teach, I never tell them English. That's not what I teach. I teach humans how to be humans. I teach humans how to develop self-awareness. I teach humans how to be compassionate. I teach humans how to manage their bodies, manage their feelings, manage their trauma responses. I teach humans how to communicate, how to process complicated things that make them feel certain ways about themselves because it's hard. I teach them resilience, how to get through it when it's hard. And then I teach them how to celebrate their successes when they make it through what's hard. English is just the content in which we use to get there, right? It's the same with math, it's the same with history, it's the same with science, anything. Like, we are not, any teacher could tell you that we're not just teachers. That's not our job. Our job is so much more.